What's going on, guys? It's GBP baby. Welcome back to another video. I hope everybody's doing well, and let's get straight into things. So hopefully you've watched yesterday's video. If you haven't yet, definitely go and check it out. But nonetheless, you can see how today we traded up perfectly into our weekly bearish order block mean threshold, which is nice to see, and it's also in line with our bearish bias of wanting to see price expand lower. Now the thing right now is that we're so heavily stuck in this consolidation. It is at a point where price could genuinely go either way. Like, it's not an obvious bias at this point. Moving into Tuesday, we don't have any high impact news, so I don't really expect too much movement. But the fact that we've traded to this PD array, by nature, I'm simply going to look at this PD array because that's the next place where I want to see if price can trade down to. What's nice to see is how we're closing below this volume imbalance. So as far as I'm concerned, that should continue to act bearishly. And now we can look at the 50% level of today, as in Monday, and then that will give us a nice idea of where we want price to create a potential high tomorrow. Any higher than that, and it's likely we are on the wrong side of the market, which is completely fine because we'll just readjust. But my point being, if we're going to stick to our bias, we want to see continued downwards price action. So let's go down to the 4 hour and take a closer look, and you'll see our price came, tapped into that weekly bearish order block, also a nice rejection block level right here, and it's displaced lower. Now we haven't had full displacement. Why? We haven't yet traded through any significant down close candle. So I am waiting and looking for these lows to get taken for me to be confident that price wants to trade on lower. The fact that we're holding price here says to me that price could still very well keep rallying. And if that's the case, like if we get back above this volume imbalance, then I'll be looking at this high to get ran, and then it'll probably be a reversal model and start looking at these relative equal highs. Why this is relevant now is because there is a bit of divergence going on, and I'll show you what I mean. So if we add GBP USD and we add Euro USD, in fact what I'm going to do is I'm going to clear some stuff up whilst I show you guys this. Now these charts are disgusting, guys, honestly. So if we look at this low, this is a significant swing low, you'll see how price is refusing to trade lower here on dollar. Whereas if we mark out the same high on pound, you can see how pound's rallying. And then if we look at the same high on euro, you'll also see that euro's failed to take out that high. So this is what we call divergence, because dollar's saying I want to trade higher, euro's saying I want to trade lower, and pound, as per usual, is the one that's misbehaving. So this is what we call divergence, because it's hinting to us, suggesting that, well, if we continue to see this support on dollar, euro's going to easily continue to fall off and start running for these relative equal lows, and then pound will eventually have to catch up on the back of news or something, and we'll probably have a big day eventually, maybe in the next couple of weeks, that will help push it down to catch up. But generally speaking, based off this, it's very possible and I am now looking at these highs as a potential draw on liquidity for price. Let's go back to dollar anyway. We are going to take a closer look, because this is really difficult conditions, because when you see all of, like, looking at this, I'm looking at this and I think it's disgusting. It's way too much consolidation right now. But let's go to the 1 hour. And like I said, the fact that price has respected this bullish order block right here today, especially, the see how price is staying above it. Yes, we've wicked into it, but you see how price is staying above it. So long as that happens, there's no reason we shouldn't be able to run for this buy side liquidity. So as we move into Tuesday, I'll be seeing and watching very closely to see if we stay above this level. If this order block continues to get respected, I'm happy to potentially look for longs on dollar with the expectation for expansion to the upside, and then obviously shorts on the pairs, mainly euro, since that's the one that's in line. But yeah, it's just interesting to me how we're still respecting these bullish PD arrays. So what I also think this is time dilution. ICT's spoken about this before, and it's just the idea that it's just basically when price starts, you see how it's lots of whipping back and forth and back and forth. It's doing that just to, one, build stops, drive confusion, and eventually it's just going to expand in one direction really fast, right? And it's little hints like that and the divergence we just looked at, which are going to help us frame and potentially move into the new day with a little bit more confidence. So let's mark out Tuesday as we approach the new day. I'm also going to mark out, I'm going to mark out the whole of Tuesday. I'm going to mark out this. And then let's go back up to the 4 hours, see if we can find anything. Yeah, it's not not the cleanest. Let's go to the 15-minute. And you can see there's another consolidation here. So basically, it all depends on how we treat this level right here. If we continue to respect it, I'm happy to look for longs and expect that Monday high to get ran on dollar. However, if we manage to trade below it, then and only then will I be happy to stick to my original buys from yesterday's video, and then I'll be looking at that Friday low and this Thursday low. But the way that price is moving right now, and we can take a close look at this. Look, we traded down into a bullish order block. Price came higher, came back down, breaker, low, high, lower, low, traded on higher. We're seeing continued support, fails to take out a low, failing to take out lows, failing to take out lows. We're seeing continued support and sponsorship for higher prices on dollar, especially the fact that it's in line with euro moving lower and pound's the only one that's deciding to run stops right now. So I do want to be really wary about that. Obviously, there's no high impact news tomorrow, so I'm not expecting too much. But moving into Wednesday and stuff and things with, like, you know, the high impact, I'm very, very curious about this high now. So what am I expecting for tomorrow? Honestly, guys, the very lowest I'd want to see price trade moving into tomorrow will be the breaker high right here. I'll show you now. Honestly, these conditions are so, like, take everything I'm saying with a pinch of salt, because I have not traded in these conditions since like last year December, and I'm not even trading right now, so it's like not the nicest. But my point being, I'll be looking at this high. Why? Because as far as I'm concerned, this is where the change in state of delivery was. Why? Because we traded into a significant level, bullish order block, expansion to the upside. We ran out highs, we came back down, and you can see the strong reaction off of that. So any kind of retracement, I'm allowing it to come back down into this breaker right here, these up close candles. I'm happy for price to drop down into that, but any lower than that wouldn't be supportive of the potential higher prices that we're going to be witnessing on dollar. So yeah, very confusing. It's just a matter of time before we get out of the consolidation that we're clearly in, but that's what I have my eye set on, this range right here. Very lowest I want to see is very lowest I want to see price trade is down into that, and then I want to see it leave it, and then I'd be happy that we're to expect higher prices. So with that in mind, let's go to GBP USD. Now, if you watched yesterday's video, you remember me talking about this daily breaker high. I said how I wanted to see price trade down into it and trade on higher. Now we failed to trade into it, and we still traded on higher. That's showing a level of bullishness, but it's also showing the strength, the extra strength which pound has, which euro clearly doesn't. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clear the charts right now, and let's assume that dollar is to trade on higher for the rest of the week. That means we can expect some kind of reversal or pullback on pound to an extent, although pound wouldn't be the pair which I'd be looking to trade in this condition. What would we be keying off? Well, on the weekly, we do have a bearish order block here that we haven't just yet traded into, but we do need to take that into consideration, because as soon as we tap into it, that should be sensitive to price. Let's go down to the daily. Is there anything? And in yesterday's video, you remember me drawing out a fair value gap up here. If we're going to see higher prices on pound, on dollar, and dollar's going to continue to show that sponsorship for higher prices, that I don't really want to see this fair value gap get traded to. If anything, I want to see it turn around at this bearish order block low right here. And you can see how close we are to that. And now you can start to understand how it's possible that what may happen moving into tomorrow is we may wick into that, and then price starts to pull back, and pound will have to catch up with euro, who's being extremely weak right now. We will look at the divergence again in a bit. I hope you're following along. This is very complicated, but it's because you can see why it's complex. Look at the consolidations, guys. But yeah, definitely have these levels in mind, because I'd want to see pound get weak if we are to start trading into them. So yeah, let's go to the 1 hour. Not the cleanest. Again, this could be a simple run on buy side liquidity before we get the reversal, which we may be getting. So let's get that marked out as buy side liquidity. And then I'm allowing price to run Monday's highs one more time before trading on lower. And then at that point, I'll be looking for Monday's low to get targeted for sell stops. And then we can start thinking about all these relative equal lows below here. But I'm not going to be thinking about this until tomorrow's video, because again, there's no high impact news tomorrow, so I'm not really expecting too much. Let's go to the 15 minute, and you can see how we're just in a consolidation. Again, I want to see pound run those stops, and then use these weekly PD arrays to trade on lower, and then trade lower to the south side liquidity. So yeah, my bias has pretty much changed at this point. Again, if you watch yesterday's video, you'll know my bias has pretty much changed at this point. I do think this is all manipulation to the upside, and I do think that we're probably going to see most of the week trade on lower, assuming that dollar continues to show this kind of support and this divergence that we're witnessing is true. So yeah, that's pretty much everything on pound. I hope that all makes sense. Very nasty conditions, but yeah, let's see if we can run up there and then find resistance and look for some kind of drop off. Let's now look at euro, and then here you can see the weakness, the pure weakness that euro is giving us right now. So let's go to the daily. Oh my god, guys, this is not nice. Look at that. Look at that. Yeah. So euro's failed to take out these highs completely. We've had a large down day today on Monday, so we're seeing continued resistance, and where we're seeing the resistance at a bearish order block. So it's respecting this bearish order block. It's doing exactly what we expect a bearish order block to do. We've traded down through a bullish order block. That shouldn't happen if we're bullish. So what is that saying to us? You know, we need to take that into consideration. Let's go down to the 4 hour and take a closer look. High, low, higher high, displacement. That makes this a breaker. Honestly, it looks like there's no hope for euro at this point. At this point, I'm simply going to be looking at these lows to get traded to. Let's make this black for now. And I want to be looking at these lows eventually. Because I doubt euro is going to be able to make it out of this. It just looks, this displacement was too heavy for me to be convinced that euro can make it out of that. And again, when we add dollar to it, you can see how dollar's like supportive of this price action, you know. We're seeing higher lows on dollar, and we're seeing lower highs on euro. Let's drop down to the 15-minute. Yeah. There's not much to say. Basically, euro, I want to see if we can run out this low. I want to see if we can run out this low. The very highest I'd want to see price trade on euro would be this bearish order block right here, like the top of the fair value gap. Any higher than that and I'll be like confused and suspicious, and it may feel like I'm chasing price at this point, but generally, guys, that's the first time I've looked at divergence like that, and after seeing that, I'm a little bit like, okay, yes, they're up to something. 4 hour, look how we're respecting the, oh, actually no, that's not even that. Here's the 4 hour fair value gap. We've respected the 50% level off that here, and then if we drop down to the 1 hour and look at another fair value gap right here, you can see again 50% level, we turn around and it's trading below it again. We shouldn't need to come back above this high as far as I'm concerned. It can do it, but again, depending on how dollar wants to move, I don't really want to see it do it, especially with this kind of consolidation above this high. Yeah, not ideal. So that's going to be everything, guys. I hope that all makes sense. Absolutely disgusting. I don't even know what to say at this point. And to be honest, if I had to tell you anything, I'd say don't be trading in these conditions. Not because I don't know what's going on, but generally speaking, if I can't be confident in trading these conditions, I don't think anyone should be, because generally speaking, I usually have some kind of idea of where price wants to draw to, but at this point, it's just a complete mess, you know? So with that taken into account, I hope you found this insightful. Don't forget to drop a like, drop a comment, join the mailing list, smash subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll catch you tomorrow. Peace.